Hey everyone, welcome to the Live Magic Q&A tea party. It's a tea party. I got my tea with me, Madame Pamita, and special guests. This week's special guest is Romie. We meet here, me and my special guests, every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a live free Zoom meeting in what I call our little clubhouse. And you can be joining us. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, I want in on that fun. Yeah, you can come in on that fun. You don't have to just be watching it on YouTube in a replay. You can be here live. All you have to do is go to spellsquad.com, sign up, and you'll get the code to join us. And you can be here with us, having a great time, talking about magic and spirituality and all those good things, and having some fun and meeting with friends and meeting new people. It's always a great time here. In case you've just stumbled on this and you're wondering who I am, I'm Madame Pamita, and you can find me on my website, which is parlorofwonders.com. You can also find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/Madame Pamita. I'm an author. I've written a couple books, another book coming out, which we're going to talk about in a second. I've got a book called Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot. I don't know if you can see that. I have another one coming out called The Book of Candle Magic, and we've got something very, very exciting to talk about that in a second. I also have a couple of blogs. I have a blog on my website where you can read articles about magical things, spirituality, spells, and all kinds of good stuff. That's at parlorofwonders.com. And you can also find my other blog on Patheos Pagan, which is called Baba Yaga's Cottage, which is a blog about Slavic magic. It's about Slavic spirituality, Slavic magic. Let's see, what else do I have to tell you? Anything else about that? I have a podcast that is still going, always going on. Haven't put up any new episodes lately because I've been busy working on my new book, but I do have a podcast. It's called Magic and the Law of Attraction, and you can find that at magicandthelawofattraction.com. I've got a couple of announcements coming up. Next week, there is no live magic Q&A because at the time, at that 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. time, I'm going to be teaching a live workshop, a live virtual Zoom workshop where you get to join me, and we are going to be learning about petition papers. So if you would like to be a part of that workshop, please head over to my site, go over to parlorofwonders.com, go over to learn, and then under learn, you'll see a link that says Make Magic with Me. That's the workshop. That's the workshop link. Check on that, click on that, and then you'll go over there and you'll see the workshops that I have coming up. Next Sunday, September 6th, I'm going to be teaching a one-time workshop on petition papers. And everyone's like, why are you only doing it one time live? Because there's so much out there to teach. I can only teach one thing one time. We're going to record it. So if you can't make it live, that's okay. Sign up anyway, get in on the class. And if you can't make that time, you'll get the recording. Everyone's going to get a copy of the recording so you can watch it on your own free time whenever you want. But I'm only offering this class one time only because we're going to be moving on to other topics. Petition papers are foundational in magic. If you are feeling like you do the same old petition paper every time, or you're not sure, you're feeling insecure, am I doing the right thing with my petition paper? This is the workshop for you. And I'm only offering it once. So this is the last few days that you can sign up. Also, there is a limited number of spaces in the workshop. And when it is closed, this is the part that breaks my heart. I don't set the number. The number is set by Zoom. They give me a number. So if that is sold out, I will not be able to let you in the class. I can take a waiting list, but most people don't drop out. Once they sign up, they stay. So I want you to get in. I want you to be able to do it. It breaks my heart when people come to me, I can't get in, Madame Pamita. There's no more spaces. I'm not able to get in. And I don't like to say no to people. I don't like to say you can't come in, but I don't set the numbers. So please, 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 if you are debating, if you are thinking, if you're waiting to the last minute, please don't wait to the last minute, because if you wait to the last minute, you might not get in. And then everyone's sad. I'm sad. You're sad. We don't want that. So go over to parlorofwonders.com, go to learn, and go to Make Magic with Me, and you'll see all the upcoming workshops that are happening the first Sunday of every month. First Sunday of every month at this time of the Q&A, that's when we're having our workshop. So you can be with me. It's a 90-minute workshop. You're going to get so much out of it. And we're going to have questions and answers till the cows come home. You can ask all your questions about petition papers. We will make sure that you get to learn about petition papers. It's also a hands-on workshop we're going to have time to be working on them, sharing what we've done, asking questions about it. It's going to be a doing workshop. I'm all about the workshops where you do things. So please, please, please come over there. You're going to have such a great time with me, and I can't wait to see you guys over there. Second thing I want to announce is my book, The Book of Candle Magic, is coming out October 8th. And on October 8th, I am going to be having an amazing big party from 12 noon until 8 p.m. or maybe even beyond. I'm going to be having different events over that time. And the reason I did that is because whenever I have an evening thing, my people that follow me that are in Europe, that are in India, they're like, oh my gosh, that's the middle of the night for us. I can't make that thing. It's too late. It's too late. So I said, okay, we're going to start the party early. I know it's a weekday. It's a Thursday, but we're going to start that party at noon. So those of you that are free during the day, you can come to the events at 12, 2, 4, 6, 8. We're going to have every 2 hours, we're going to have a different theme for that party, but the room is going to be open the whole time. So we're going to have an amazing, amazing party. I'm going to be announcing the different events that are going to be happening during that day, and they are going to be so much fun. It's a big celebration for the release of the book. We're going to be having an amazing time. We're going to be having raffles. We're going to be having prizes. We're going to be having interactive events. We're going to be playing games. There's going to be all kinds of things like that. And we're going to have special celebrity witch guests, spiritual witches, witches that are amazing, big celebrities, spiritual people are all going to be on this event. So I want you to be there. So please, please, please look in your email box when I send the email. We'll be announcing it here too, but mark your calendars for October 8th. That's when the party is going to happen. All righty. So what else do I have to say? Well, my guest this week, let me tell you about my guest. My guest is Starseed healer Romie Bowe. Romie is a dear friend of mine. I've known her for a long, long time. We hang out together. We've traveled together. We've done events together. We've had so much fun together. I have received services from her. She's received services from me. She was born in Los Angeles, but she was raised in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Did I say it right? Yes. Buenos Aires, Argentina. And she is a starseed. She's a healer. She's an intuitive. She's a mystic. And she's definitely, definitely a goddess. She studied various disciplines and modalities throughout her life. And her multicultural background has provided opportunities for the discovery of her multidimensional soul. She studied and read the tarot since her teenage years, and her studies in mediumship, quantum touch healing, and meditation have guided her spiritual journey and fueled her curiosity in numerous spiritual and mystic traditions. I really feel like we have a kindred spirit thing going on, because I like to take lots of different things from lots of different modalities and blend them together to make my own recipe. And I feel like you're the same way too.
I think that's what brings like more, makes like everything more delicious and attractive, like combining. And that's what I always encourage people, like just to take whatever serves for them and like make their own like experience and their own, magical spell for themselves to work in their life.
I love that. I love that blend and that mix. It just makes it something very unique. And I think that also it makes it more powerful, because it isn't, I'm just a cookie cutter doing what everyone else has done. I'm doing something that's very unique, and only I offer it, and only you offer it. We all are unique snowflakes. We all are unique beings. So why shouldn't our spiritual practices reflect that? I always feel like that anyway. So she is initiated into the Modern Mystery School, and she carries out the work of the hierarchy of light on this planet, and is charged with honoring, preserving, and handing down the tools and the teachings in the lineage of King Solomon. You are delving into Kabbalah, about you do tons of work with the chakras. You do all kinds of healing work. Anyway, you can find Romie at Instagram.com, Romie Bowe. You can find her at romiebowe.com. It's ROMIEBO.com. And you can also find her at magiceverywhere.com. Are we still doing Magic Everywhere? Is that still happening?
Yes, it's still happening. There's a lot of things that's part of being multidimensional, right? There's a lot of other things happening at the same time. So it's been probably like a little bit slow, Magic Everywhere, but it's still happening. And I hope to give it a boost anytime soon, especially maybe next year. This year has been intense, not and really good, like especially with the classes I've been doing and all the work that I've been doing. So, but a lot of things have been manifesting at the same time that dedicated more of my energy to be redirected. So, but Magic Everywhere is still online. The magic t-shirts with sigil, Magic Everywhere is about like sigil t-shirts that have power, that can open the energies for your abundance, love, and protection. And I mean, we had it at the beginning of the year when we were at the convention, like people were coming back to get the t-shirts because probably they got the abundance one and they were like, oh, I started like manifesting more wealth in my life. And so they came back for the love one. And yes, it's still happening. It's slow, but it's still happening.
I love it. I love it. We had started Magic Everywhere and together, and it's just like, it was such a beautiful thing. And then I had to go back to focusing on my stuff. I'm like, but I want it to happen. So it's like you're doing beautiful. If you go check out Magic Everywhere, you'll see all these beautiful shirts, sigil. It's sigil magic. It's also spell kits and things like that. And it's just a gorgeous thing. And I feel like maybe I'm the godmother to it, right?
Totally.
Anyway, so let's talk about a little bit about what I'm going to, kind of share with people what we have done together. Mm-hmm. And a little bit about my experience. I think that always helps to like kind of explain it. And then we can talk about, I think one of the things when we were in the pre-show and you and I were talking, we were talking about like how spirituality in pandemic or spirituality in the time of like upheaval and elections, and it feels like things are very scary or anxious out there, and what these things are meaning, how we cope with these things. And I think this kind of practical stuff could be really helpful because it sometimes comes up in questions too, that we get, and we don't often talk about current events and spirituality. So I think that would be good. But let me first start with one of the things that Romie does is that she does life activation and DNA activation, right?
Yeah.
I have, yeah. Well, what is it?
The life activation, it's the DNA activation.
Okay. It's the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing that I had an experience, like Romie says, why don't you come and we'll have a session and then you'll be able to kind of explain it to people or understand. I said, sure, I'm always up for a session of doing something. And I really came with a very open mind. I didn't really have a lot of, I didn't really have much of an agenda. I kind of think I don't even remember if I said I had a issue that I was working on, or I was just like, hey, let's just do it. Mm-hmm. So when we did the session, it's a session where you're standing and you're standing with your eyes closed. For me, as the practitioner, the one being practiced upon, I was standing with my eyes closed, and Romie did a session on me. She did some sounding. You did some sound stuff, as I remember, and you were moving around, but I went into a very meditative state. And what I found was I started doing very intense visioning work. I wasn't expecting to do visioning work. I had my sort of visioning work was at that point kind of clogged. I wasn't really doing visioning whenever I would sit down to have a session with someone. I used to be able to vision very easily, and it had been sort of clogged and it wasn't working. And you did this and it opened up for me, like I was visioning, and I also was learning. I was getting downloads of information, and I had a very, very magical experience about some downloads and some learning that I did during that time. So at the end of the session, you called me back in whatever way. And then I said, wow, but that was only 20 minutes. And you're like, no, it was an hour and 20 minutes. I had been so deep in a standing. This is what was kind of phenomenal, is that it was like a standing situation. So I couldn't fall asleep, but the time compressed and I learned so much. I was doing a shamanic experience with you. Right. So what happened for me is from that session that we had, it opened up for me like so much. The downloads then kept continuing. I kept getting continuation of downloads opening up to synchronicities and the right people and the right teachers coming to me. And it's sort of what I would say, if I were to describe it, I would say it accelerated my spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like I was doing it, I was a little stuck. I was kind of spinning my wheels in some areas of my own personal spiritual practice. I wasn't feeling like I was, making the progress very quickly. And this just kind of rotor-rooted, cleaned out the pipes so that everything was coming very, very clearly. Everything was coming in beautifully. And it removed for me, and made the space for me to have a more, I guess my channel to the divine was just clearer. It just was the gunk was removed, I guess is the best way to describe it. So would you say, is there anything that you would add to that, what I described?
Your description is pretty accurate of what happens to the person getting the DNA activated. Of course, each person is at a different level, right? And a different level, I mean, in the healing world. Like you've been working, healing yourself for a long time. So even though your experience can be very different from other person, but for sure there's certain key points like the connection with the divine, the communication with the divine, it's going to be for sure amplified. That's part of the DNA activation. It unlocks the communication, especially in the life activation, for you to connect to your original blueprint that has all the information of what it is that you actually came here on earth to do, and it can accelerate. That's where you feel the sensation of accelerated, because once you have it clear, then you start seeing things in your life happening for sure. That part, I feel it's similar to everyone. The visions that everyone can have during the session are totally different depending, right? Sometimes someone it's probably more like working on grief because there's a relative that passed and they're like so attached and or feel guilty, so the activation helps in remove that guiltiness and again connect you to your blueprint. So in order to shift those energies where you're like, okay, this loved one passed, but now it can help me from the other realms moving to my healing right now on earth. So it's a very like beautiful like alchemized experience. And some other ones might have anxiety or fears, and it unlocks the DNA activation, brings light into all those little, not little things, but those things that actually stop us from manifesting on earth.
Yeah, I really did feel like it opened up for me so many, it opened up, it was kind of a little bit, it was surprising to me because I didn't go in with an expectation of anything. I just like, okay, let's do it. And what it opened for me was exactly what I needed. And I didn't even know that was something I could ask for. Like to be able to have my visioning back, to be able to find new paths of spiritual experience, to be my more authentic self as a teacher and as a practitioner and a teacher. How do I get more to closer to the truth or closer to that? So it's just a phenomenal thing. And it's hard to describe, but when you experience it, it's very gentle. It's nothing like there's nothing.
Yeah.
And then we had a second one too, which was amazing as well. And we had a bunch of stuff open from that one too. So these are, I think that these sessions are profound and amazing, and something that it's a little indescribable. And the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like a version of a shamanic experience or a shamanic practitioner working on you to heal and to activate I think activation is exactly the right word. It's like it charges you up again. It charges your battery again so that you can start being your authentic, true spiritual self, and what, as you say, what you're meant to be doing, your life purpose. It activates your life purpose. That's it.
It activates your life purpose. And there's something that I feel happens as well to a lot of people that get the activation, which is, do you remember like all the activity that you started, all the magic that you started doing in your dream world? That happens to a lot of people too, where they're like, oh, I was doing such a lot and like a bunch of things on my dream work and like working on this, and that's when you start having like downloads, and maybe you get names, or you get formulas, or you get directions on how to do something. And that's as well, that's your higher self working with you, helping you remember. And that's as well the communication of your galactic family saying, okay, we're going to help you. Now you have this channel open, you accepted it, here we are for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You want to jump into some questions, because looks like we have a lot of questions, and I want to make sure we get as many as possible. So let's jump in. Okay. This is that question that you were bringing up. Hi, I'm Joseph from Northwest, and I want to know how to be a magician and how to do things happen when you do magic. What things happen when you do magic. So this is someone who is at that entry level point. They want to know about magic. They want to know how to do magic. And what would you say would be a place to start, or what would you think? I mean, this is almost like what we're talking about, right? Like getting a life activation. It can really help with opening up your own abilities. I think, okay, if I'm going to I usually give it to you first, but this one I want to say just one thing before you jump into it. I believe that we all have the capability within us. We have to unlock it. And this is exactly when we talk about the life activation, the DNA activation, it's about unlocking what's already there. Would you agree with that?
It's about unlocking, for sure. I feel so, to become a magician, we all are magicians. What's happening there when you're questioning yourself, how do I do it? It's understanding, it's a process of healing actually, and that it's going to take you to the point where you understand that you are an image from God. So you have all the same powers that God, that even if you want to see it as God, if you want to see it as source energy, however you want to see it, you have all those same powers. We are limited here on earth by our body, though, because it's physical, it's more like dense. This density it's harder, but with this thinning of the veils, that's what's happening. Like we are accomplishing like those superhuman powers that we have as a energy field. So once we understand that we are a god, you are a goddess, all of the people following us right now here with us, they're gods and goddesses, they have their own power. That's when I feel the magic starts happening. And then that's, it helps with the synchronicities, and it's step by step. And then after that, it's going to take you to understand how you use the words too, and the power of words, right? Like, if you, for example, even yesterday, I had to go somewhere. I was going to be late because I needed to stop somewhere. I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And I was like, stop saying that. Stop saying like, yes, you're going to go get that. And then you're going to get to point B from A, and you're going to make it. And I did make it, being able to do everything before that. If I would have like keep my mind in the state of like, I'm not going to make it, then I wasn't going to make it. Let's say, okay, I'm a Virgo, so if I'm 5 minutes late, I freak out.
Yes, it's time to tell the truth. Happy birthday, by the way. It's everybody wish Romie a happy birthday, because she just celebrated her birthday the other day. So, she had an amazing birthday on Tuesday. It was her birthday.
But it's about like, it's always about like how you use the words as well. And if you have the call for magic, everything is magic. Just, like the name, magic everywhere. To me, like going on a hike and seeing the flowers, that's magic. You can practice telepathy with the plants, just staring at the plant and like feel what the plant is telling you. And but the thing is, like, you have to believe it, because if you start questioning, that's where like the non-healthy ego starts arising, and that's where the fight starts with your healthy ego and your non-healthy ego, and your intuitive feminine part with the masculine part of yourself. And those are the things that you have to heal. And then in order to do magic as well, you have to be ready for change.
Yeah.
Because things are gonna start changing big time.
I think, what's so interesting is that I was goofing around with my camera, and I had an app that makes you make fake tintypes. And I was like, oh, I want to do something fun. And I did this fun picture the other day where I had no makeup on, whatever. And I did this like this. And then I'm like, oh, I need to put a quote underneath. And I'm like, what quote do I want to put? And there's a William Blake quote, which I love William Blake. I'm obsessed with William Blake. I call him my 18th century boyfriend, because he's such a mystic. He was such an amazing mystic. He was an artist and a poet, but he was a mystic, really. And that's the part of him that I just find fascinating. And it says, if the doors of perception were clean, if you could see everything as it really is, you would see it as it really is. I'm paraphrasing now, that it's infinite. Everything is infinite. But it's like we're in a cave and we're looking out at the world through this tiny little crack in the cave, that we can't see the truth of everything. When you start to open up your perception, that's when you can do magic. And it's exactly what you're talking about with going out and spending time with a plant. If you go out and spend time with a plant, and you're just like, that's just a plant, you're looking at it like this. You're looking at it through like this. Why not look at it in its infinite state, that the plant has plant consciousness, that you can communicate with a plant? It's letting go of those restrictions that you are placing on yourself.
Right.
You're placing it on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have been taught it by your family, by society, but if you can take it away and open up that door, you can see reality as it truly is. So
right,
that's where we get to magic.
Right. And I always suggest that part, like people that it's starting probably with magic, to start that telepathy communication with plants and animals, because that as well, it's a good exercise for believing in themselves, that what they're hearing back from the animal or from the plant, it's real. Like, let's say you're in front of the plant and you're feeling like the plant has too much water or needs more food, or you have to trust that message, right? And it's simple. It's a simple way of starting, like, with magic, I feel. Even the pets, right? If whatever they need, that at least that was my experience, especially with telepathy, and how to like make everything more synchronized. Because then after that, I would probably have like a letter to mail. I was like, oh, I don't really want to drive to the post office. Like, universe, can you bring the post office to me? Which I didn't know how it was gonna happen, And then I was like, whatever, I'll just go for a hike. And then I opened the door, and literally the post office guy is like dropping the letters into the mail. I'm like, but you have to start, like, that helped like build my confidence into listening to my intuition. That and a lot of other like experiences in my life, right? Relationship with ex-boyfriends and everything, right? Especially that one where you like really question yourself. But I feel that's how, like, that's an easy way to start without like spending a lot of money, and if you want to get into do magic. And drinking a lot of water. That's always my advice. Water, because the water holds the frequency of Gaia and the universe. And if you want to like be vibrating, you have to be vibrating in those higher frequencies if you want things to change again.
Yeah, and also too, if you want to do some extra magic on your water, put intention into your water before you drink it. You can, I mean, the water itself is going to hold, you know, it's hold, but you can actually, because it can hold a vibration, you can bless your water and you can say what you want it to do and then drink your water, which is a phenomenal way to start to work with water. I used to, there's a thing that I used to do, I should get back into it, but I used to take a clear glass of water and I got these marking pens that would write on glass and that you could wipe off. They were for like marking your wine glass or something like that. You know, when you're at a party, you write your name on your wine glass so you don't get mixed up. So I got these markers and I would write a word or a phrase on that glass of what I wanted that water, what that magic potion was going to be for. What a beautiful, fun, playful, fun way to charge that water with that intention. And then you're drinking that water, you're bringing that into your body. Same thing with magical teas. When you make a tea, you have the support of the plant energy and the water, and you can put your intention. The plants have different vibrations. And so when you find plants that vibrate, like for example, lemongrass, I often recommend to people to drink lemongrass tea, because lemongrass is a cleanser. And if they want to get rid of negativity, they want to get rid of fear, they want to get rid of anxiety, they want to get rid of somebody's junk on them, drinking that lemongrass tea brings that support for that cleansing energy, and then it becomes part of your cellular body.
Exactly.
You know, it's so beautiful. It's so magical.
And then that takes you to the next step. Because your soul then keeps like taking you to the next step and next step and next step, and opens the new information for you to deal with. Like, you know, you can start with the water, then you follow with the teas, then it's going to take you to the candle.
Yeah.
And to dress a candle and to program the candle as well, with like in a similar way as what you did with the water. So it's like, I mean, the options are infinite. I'm just talking about like examples, right? So people can know that there are like thousands of options, whatever resonates, and really you don't have to like spend a lot of money, like
Exactly,
because we are God and we are the goddesses. We have the power here in our hands, right?
but I always think that, like, here's the example I give. Like, if you know, the question arises, if you have the power in just your thought alone, and then I always say an adept magician, that's a skillful magician, can move anything with a thought, the focused thought. But what is the reality of our human experience and dealing with the unhealthy ego, as you call it? We go, I want to get to the place on time, but I'm not going to get to the place on time, but I want to get to the place on time, but I'm not going to get to the place on time. So you go back and forth and you don't have a focused thought. Your thought goes off in different directions. That's where the things such as crystals, candles, herbs, you know, these tools that we bring in are there as our support team. The candle doesn't have magic in it, but the candle is the tool that you imprint with your magic. The herb doesn't have magic in it per se, but it allows you to imprint your intention onto it. So they're all like blank cassette tapes that you can put your intention into it, but it's the right cassette tape for what it is that you're doing, and how close you can get to that rightness is part of learning magic. So, all right, we got another question. Ready? Do you have anything else you want to add before we go to another question?
No, there's no further other question.
Okay. All right. So Lizzie asks the question, hi, Romie and Madame Pamita, sending love. How do you know if you are a healer? How do you know if you're a healer?
I feel that if you're asking that question, it's because you are.
Exactly.
If you're, because that question means that you're having a doubt. Am I a healer? I'm not a healer. But I feel that probably deep in you, you feel you have something to do here on earth related to service. Here's the key as well. Being in service to others is what's going to bring you the most joy into your soul as well. So if everyone actually here on earth would be aligned to their purpose and understand that, probably everyone would be in service to another one, and planet earth would be like totally different right now from where we are right now. But it's not the case. So if you're asking that question, I feel you are, and because all those powers are available to everyone here on earth, and it's just a matter of digging a little bit deep. And yeah, that's where probably the activation can help you decode those things. There's other healing modality that I do that it's called life of purpose reading, and that's I it unlocks the grid in your codons, in your DNA codons, to see what it is that you're supposed to do in life, and it comes out like it's amazing. It's so amazingly technological, but everything it's energy, right? Like you I mean, I'm seeing it, but you're not. Like it's not. But I feel, I don't know, it's weird to explain. I feel like a computer, but it's actually not there. You know what I mean? It's invisible to the regular eye, but all the information is there. But in order to get to that, for sure, like I would suggest like the DNA activation first, because again, that, like you say, that unlocks a lot of things in your life that are stuck or stagnant, and it clears all that way. And right now, actually, with the Virgo season, that's a great time. Right now, it's a great time to get the activation, because it's that Virgo clearing energy, like organizing, clearing. I'm throwing this, I'm throwing that, I'm separating, I'm bringing all this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like, you know what I say to when I meet with my guide council, and I often meet with my guide council, my spirit guide council, and I ask them questions that are sometimes personal, and sometimes I ask them bigger questions that apply to many people, you know, to humanity. And one of the questions that I ask them is, what is everyone's life purpose? What is everyone's life? What is the common life purpose of everyone? And they say that your mission, every single one of you that's watching, Romie, me, and all of you, our life purpose is to offer some help, assistance, or extend ourselves in some way to one other being, whether it's a human, an animal, a plant. When we do it one time, we are creating a network of a thread, which then can be connected to by other people and so on. Once you've done it once, you've achieved and accomplished your life purpose. That's it. You've done your duty. Anything beyond that is gravy. Anything beyond that is going to be feeling great, and it's going to be amazing, but you only have to do once, and then you've achieved your life purpose. So if you go out and water a tree, you've done your life purpose, right? Because you've helped or assisted some being on this planet. But what we see is that no one's ever satisfied with just one. We are meant to be connecting to many beings and offering assistance, help, support, holding space for whatever. When you're a healer, I 100% agree with what Romie has said, which is that if you are saying, I wonder if I'm a healer, you're only wondering if you're a healer because you are a healer. I would say to you, Lizzie, that you already are a healer, and you are not the awakening that has to happen to see how you've been a healer. So when you've watered that plant, when you fed that pet, when you talked to your friend who was crying, you were being a healer already, because you're connecting you're creating those webs of connection. So some people will say, well, like, I'm not really good with people. Well, that's all right. You do it with animals, or you do it with plants. It's not like it's better. It's just different, right? We need the people that are going to care for the plants. We need the people that are going to care about the trees. We need the people that are going to care about the animals. And we need the people that are going to care about the water and the earth and all of these other things, as much as we need the people that are going to care about other human beings and heal those. So whatever healing you want to do, you get to choose. Now, Lizzie's next question was, would this activation help me to get clarity? And Romie answered that you can have this life purpose work done so that you can see what exactly in more detail what that purpose is. But I can tell you, you all have achieved your life purpose. Now you get to do something that maybe will bring you satisfaction or bring you elevate things or bring happiness. There cannot be too much beauty in the world. There cannot be too much happiness in the world. There cannot be too much healing in the world. There can't be too much. So
and that part, you know, that part, we just from the beginning, we're all healers. The moment that we decide to come to Earth, because we decide to incarnate here, and I feel, even though being on Earth, sometimes it's really difficult, like you feel you don't belong here, and that happened to a lot of starseeds, that you don't belong here, you don't want to be here. I mean, it happens to me sometimes where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of being here, like this is really hard. From the moment we are born, we start healing ourselves. So the more work we do in ourselves, we heal ourselves. And that's why we are actually healers, because we heal ourselves, not because we heal other person. We can offer our service and help them open their doors and gates for themselves to do their own healing and accelerate. And what Earth is, it's an accelerator. I feel like it's an accelerator for that to happen at a soul level. So when you go into other lifetimes, in other planets or in other dimensions, you have that heal already.
Yeah.
That's why I feel Earth is so important, really. And that's, you know, messages that I download in my meditations on my work. And that's how I've been experiencing it. So that's why I say, yes, Lizzie, you're totally a healer, and for sure the life activation can help you find a little bit more, like find a clear path and see clearer. And I embrace everyone, you know, to go into their journey of healing themselves, because it's really hard. It's hard. I mean, there's a lot of crying and letting go, but it's totally worth it.
It could be or could not be, you know. It doesn't always have to be hard. It can be joyful too.
No, it is.
Maybe I did all my crying before. I don't know, but it's very joyful for me. The more I expand in my healing, the more I expand in my practice. I think the crying comes from compassion too, you know? Yeah, there's that. Okay.
Because there's crying too that happens when you really tune into the frequency of love, the pure frequency of love, the Jesus Christ consciousness, and it has nothing to do with religion. Feeling that frequency from source, it's magical, and it's beyond you. Like, I don't know how to express it, and that can bring you tears too, because you're like, oh my God, this feels so good.
Yeah. It's emotional. That's what I would say. Not crying because you're necessarily sad, but deeply, deeply emotional. Yeah.
And it's a release of energies too. I don't know, when I tap into that unconditional love frequency, it was just like, I remember, like, I was crying because it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's so joyful. We've got a lot of questions of people asking how they can get in touch with you, and just go to Romie Bo, the link that I gave. I'll give it again. We've had questions. Can I make a session? Can I do this? Can I do that? So rather than answer each of those questions, just go onto her website and you will be able to find information of how to contact her, how to set up a session and all of that. So that's all your questions. I'm not skipping over them, but yeah.
They can write me. Feel free to write me. I'll be answering. Don't worry. Like, don't be scared. Like, I'm available. Like, please write to me.
Do you have, Felicia's asking, oh no, sorry, Bruce is asking, then we'll get to you, Felicia. Bruce is asking, why are daydreams rarely the same as the dreams that we dream at night? So like daydreams tend to be like you're thinking, you're conscious thinking, and dreams at night maybe are more subconscious, or what would you say about that? I mean, it's kind of an interesting question.
I feel Daydreaming, I love it because there's a lot of information. Probably you're a little bit more conscious about the daydreaming while you're doing it than when you're asleep, where you kind of like lose control if you're having a lucid dreaming, or if just like a residue of what you had, like that you leave from the whole day. But then there work that you can do to intend to have a similar daydream experience in the night day experience. And there are energies that you can call upon. And the energy, for example, of Neptune can help you have a similar experience of a daydream in your night dream. And if you set the intention before going to sleep, you do a meditation, you set the intention of remembering that dream, you're going to start realizing you have the control of what it is that you want to dream, actually, like what it is that you want to remember. We all go into the astral to do work. We're working when we're out there. And if you put the intention of remembering, you will remember. Now, have a journal next to you so you can write it, right? Because then after a while, probably you forget it unless it's super like strong. Daydreaming, I feel probably it's easier to connect with your higher self and download the messages, because you're having more control at some point. Like you are awake physically, you're awake. So I don't want to complicate it. To take that energy of being more in control into the night time, because you kind of like lose control, your body relaxes, like you're totally out there. You have to set clear intentions of what it is that you want of your nighttime dreams to be.
Yeah, I think it's
like things are going to start happening. Everything is about intentions, you know. It's about the using of the words, and that we were talking before.
I think of that, the difference between daydreams and nighttime dreams as being one is more controlled and one is less controlled, and there's advantages and disadvantages to both. You know, if you have the daydream, you can take it wherever you want it to go. You can imagine, you can take your imagination anywhere, but you're also living by the limits. Any limits that you have in your conscious mind will show up in your daydream. So if you are like, I think that it would take somebody that was really practiced at daydreaming to be able to let go to the degree that they do it in the nighttime. You'd have to be able to say, I can go anywhere, I can do anything, I don't have to be limited. But your conscious mind wants to put a limit on it, right? So when you're sleeping, you're not limited, and you're receiving and you're connecting on a spiritual level. I do believe that when you have dreams about someone else, that you're connecting on the spiritual level. So sometimes people will come to me, clients will come to me, people will come to me and say, oh, I had a dream about you, Madame Pamita. I'm like, oh, great. We got to play together in the spiritual realm. That's lovely. I love that we got to do that. So those are the things that I think that we see when we look at the difference between those two, is that you're in some way you're freer, but you can't direct it as much because it's kind of, you know, you're completely free. And the other one, you can direct it more, but you're limited because you can direct it more. So there's advantages and disadvantages to both, you know.
Both are part of the growing into the spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Both are gonna bring you like amazing messages and clues to your next step of what it is that you have to do. Again, the biggest part is believing and trusting it.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a couple more questions before we go. I want to get to these. They're really good ones. Felicia wants to know, do you have healing courses for people who are meant to be healers? Do you have healing courses for people who are meant to be healers?
I do not, but they can always go to the Modern Mystery School, and they're like, let me look for it so I can put the link.
The Modern Mystery School. You go ahead and type that in. But also too, it's like, I think what happens when they go to a session, well, it's my experience of when going to a session, it's like you're opened up in some way to find the right teachers, to find the right paths. That's what happened to me, is that I really wanted to have a teacher to learn ancient shamanic practices. And when after my session with Romie, I found this amazing teacher, and we have got on like gangbusters, the one that I had on, Krista Lynn, that I had on the show a few weeks ago. So, so that's, I think what happens is, it's kind of like healing magic. People think you light a candle for healing, I'm going to be healed. Sometimes the spontaneous healing happens, but 99% of the time what happens is it leads you to the right information, the right healer, the right modality, the right medication or treatment or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's going to lead you to the thing. So the activation itself is a way to open up that channel so that you find your teacher, so that you can be a healer. Last question that we're going to get to today. This is so great. Everyone has so many great questions. Tanya says, where did this modality come from, and where did you learn DNA activation? This is great. Great question.
The DNA activation, I learned it at the Modern Mystery School. I just posted the link. The class is called Healers Academy 1, and the modality comes from the lineage of King Solomon, where in the kingdom they merged like sages and magicians from all over to really work on a technique that would help the humans evolve with their soul and spirit work. Now, they've been teachings that they've been secret for a long time, and they've been like underground, and it was only available to specific people, in those mystery schools, like the Golden Dawn. But nowadays, it's time the humanity is ready to embrace that type of healing. And this was the right time. They started a couple like years ago though, but it was the right time to open up. Especially we were waiting for this moment to happen, because right now the amount of people awakening, and there's a lot of young people as well, like awakening, they're more connected than anyone. It's happening. That's what this 2020 is and was about. It's related to the card of the judgment, the card number 20. It's about that awakening to our divine forces, to our divinity, and is this illumination. And it's like you were saying, like depending on how you perceive things. If you want to perceive that it was an awful year, then it's going to be an awful year. If you want to perceive that it was like an amazing year full of opportunities and new spiritual work arising from all the people around the world, and the amazing connectivity that we have around the world, and then connected to the galactic as well, then all those things are gonna come to you. It's the law of attraction. That's the law of attraction, and then you can attract whatever it is that you want to attract that way.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of 2020 as a pile of shit that I can use as fertilizer for growing some amazing magical plants. So
sure. So all those anxieties and fears that been arising with this thing going on in 2020, it's still good, because then that it just means that there's still something there to heal, for us to be a little bit more pure and be available to be even more happy in life. Yeah. So nothing is bad and nothing is right. It just is, and we have to embrace it and understand that it's there for a reason.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, people say it's a pile of shit. Yeah, but what do we use shit for? We use it to fertilize and grow plants. I mean, it's an amazing tool.
It's the seed before it sprouts, it's dig into the darkness for quite a bit, yeah. And it needs that darkness. So what about like when you're in that dark spot, just give yourself a little bit of love, because the seed needs love and warmth to sprout.
Yeah, so beautiful. So beautiful.
I mean, we are just a mirror of nature and the whole universe. So it's there. The answers are always in nature. Always. Yeah. In nature.
Yeah, it's so true. It was such a delight to have you, Romie, on the show again. I just love you so much. And we all love you so much. You had a huge bunch of people here. We have we had 70 people here, which is one of our top numbers. You always draw a big crowd. People are always fascinated with what you have to say. But we're going to have you back again in a few months. I'm sure we'll have you again. And the rest of you, so how you can find Romie is, I'm going to put it again. You can go to, let's see if I can put it. There we go. There's all the things. Instagram, it's instagram.com/Romie, ROMIE _Bo, BO, or you can go to www.romiebo.com, or you can go to Magic Everywhere and see the sigil t-shirts that we we're working on, and the spell kits and so on, all the stuff that's over there. But if you want to find out about more about DNA activation, life activation, and all the things that Romie is delving into, she's so warm and welcoming, has the time to answer your questions, and you can connect with her there. You can ask your questions. If you didn't get your question answered today and you have a question for her, I'm sure she's so gracious and kind, she will answer your question on email. So
of course.
yeah, if you didn't get your question answered.
Your time. I really appreciate it. I have a lot of fun. I love you so much.
I love you so much. We have so much fun together. Just a reminder that next week there is no live magic Q&A, but at the live magic Q&A time is the petition paper class. Do you want to be like Mary Smith and have success and abundance and luck and wealth? Yes, you do. Oh, you can't see that because it's going off into the stars. Do you want to have love in your life? Do you want to have the perfect job? Do you want to have fame and fortune for your project? Oh, there's so many things you can do with petition papers, and petition paper magic is foundational magic. It is, you will learn so much. You will learn how to make new styles of petition papers. You will learn traditional styles of petition papers. You will learn how to use petition papers and magic by themselves, how to use them with other things. We're going to get into it all, and you're going to make some petition papers with me. So come make magic with me. If you want to find out more about it, go to parlorofwonders.com. Go to learn, and then go to make magic with me, and you'll see all the workshops that are coming up, including this one, including the one that already just happened on Friday that I haven't taken down yet. I have to go down and go do that. But I would hope you would join me. We're going to have so much fun together. It's going to be an amazing 90-minute class and plenty of time for answering questions about petition papers. So if you want to know, you don't know anything, or you want to know more, this is the perfect class for you. It's your one-time opportunity to do it live with me, and I hope you join me. Don't forget, October 8th is the release of my book, The Book of Candle Magic, which is an amazing book about candle magic. It is really a download of every single thing that I know about candle magic in a handy guide that will allow you to create your own spells. It is, as I've said before, not a recipe book. It's not another dumb recipe book that says do this, do that. It tells you why they do this, why they do that, so that you, when you learn why you do it, you can create your own spell, customize your spell just for your particular intention. It is unique. This book is totally unique. It has already been translated, in the process of being translated into Russian. It got picked up to get translated before it is even out, which is very exciting for a book creator and author to have. That's a very unusual thing. Usually they wait and see how it does before they pick it up, but they were so confident about this book, some Russian book company, that they bought the rights to it. So it's going to be translated into Russian. Very excited about that. So anyway, go ahead and pre-order your copy. You can I'm encouraging people to pre-order their copy of the book through their local bookseller, to keep our local booksellers in business, so that I have places to go to once we are able to go places, so I can come and visit you. You can pre-order it online, of course, at the usual places, and you can pre-order it with me. But we're going to have a big party on October 8th, because that's the release date. We're going to have a huge, big free party. We're going to get together. We're going to have fun. We're going to have games. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have all those things. So be sure to mark it on your calendar, October 8th. That's our get together for the big release of the Book of Candle Magic. So I think that's it for me. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Romie, so much. Thank all you guys so much for being in the clubhouse, the Spell Squad. You know I love you guys so much. I just adore you. I love all your questions. I love being here in the room with you. I love our time together. So I hope to see you at the workshop next week. And then the following week, I should check and see what we're doing. The following week, we've got a guest. And who's our guest going to be? Let me check and see. Oh my gosh, I'm really unprepared. Anyway, you can find it online by going to my site, going to parlorofwonders.com, going to learn and going to got questions. If you look at the got questions, click on that and you'll see the calendar coming up of who we're going to have coming up for the month of September. Thanks again, Romie. It was great having you.
Oh my God. Love you all. Thank you.
I love you. I love you so much. Love you guys too. Take care. Have a beautiful rest of your week. And I'll see you next Sunday at the petition paper workshop. Bye.